What has been a long day across the country at several airports. Technical difficulties creating delays and cancellations, including right here at Norfolk International. I spoke to one woman from Hampton Roads who's stuck in Dallas. She's just trying to get home. Virginia Beach leaders getting ready to provide some new information hours after two police officers were killed in a shooting that began as a traffic stop last night. Right now, police in Virginia Beach still trying to figure out why a car drove off a fishing pier. Take a look. This is video which has been shared thousands of times across Hampton Roads and the country. Well, new gaming systems, new phones, new computers, they can all be fun gifts for your kids. But once those devices connect to the internet, they can potentially become dangerous and a portal for strangers to contact your children. Begin by staying on top of that breaking news we've been following all day today out of Virginia Beach. Two officers shot and killed during a traffic stop. Yeah, back on top of that breaking news out of Norfolk tonight. Two people hurt in a shooting near Old Dominion University's campus. Let's go back to WTKR News 3's Elandra Head one last time, live at the scene. Take a look. Everyone is familiar with this pier behind me. It's the Virginia Beach Fishing Pier at 14th Street. Well, it's now part of a video that's been shared tens of thousands of times showing a car crashing off the end of the pier earlier this morning. News 3's Coulter Anstead has the latest. Let's start with the big story of the day. A jury of 7 men and 5 women finding former President Donald Trump guilty on 34 felony counts, the deliberations lasting fewer than 12 hours. Well, tonight, we are learning more about an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump during a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. We are still working to follow up on an officer-involved shooting in Virginia Beach. We brought this to you new at 11 last night. Well, this is happening right now. Hampton Roads Transit increasing security at its transfer and light rail stations. Well, this is new at 10 tonight. A potential port strike threatening the U.S. economy averted. For almost 4 decades, the Virginia Aquarium and Marine Center in Virginia Beach has offered people a glimpse at ocean life. But future changes could be coming to the facility and its ownership. There are a lot of empty hearts and empty wallets as people find out that something in the water isn't happening this year. Well, new tonight at 11, a lot of people talking about this. The Mount Trashmore Carnival closing early due to staffing shortages. Virginia Beach city officials making that decision earlier today, citing a lack of public safety officers and deputies. His mother's love, good behavior in jail, and a learning disability while in grade school. Those are the reasons that Richard Humbert, who was convicted of a hit and run that killed an 8-year-old boy, gave to a judge about why his sentence should be shortened. Well, in between class time can be pretty busy for students as they rush to their lockers to get their supplies for their next class. But soon there's one thing they might have to leave in their locker: their cell phones. Take a look. This is the effect of high tide. The streets are flooded. As you can see, a truck trying to come through here right now. You can see just how deep the waters are. Now, I've reached out to Portsmouth Police to try to get an update on Lisa Freeman's case and ask some questions. Where does this investigation stand? Is there a person of interest in this case? Well, take a look. This is just one of many signs that people are holding here at the corner of Granby Street and City Hall Avenue in downtown Norfolk. I'm your Norfolk neighborhood news reporter, Jay Greene, and all of these people are trying to send a message to our government leaders about immigration. Still unclear what the future will be for stripers here at Waterside in Norfolk, but in the meantime, I talked to an economic expert about what an absence of a business like this means for any downtown in Hampton Roads. Typically at this time of year, people would be filling up this parking lot here at Mount Trashmore in Virginia Beach and then getting in line to get tickets for the summer carnival here at Mount Trashmore. Construction, as you can see, is well underway on Norfolk's new casino right next to Harbor Park. Flu season is in full effect across Virginia. The Virginia Department of Health reporting a high number of cases across the Commonwealth. Now, the details in this affidavit are absolutely heartbreaking. While no charges have been filed, this provides a narrative of what happened in the moments leading up to and after a toddler in Newport News got a hold of a gun and fatally shot himself. Funeral services will be held Saturday for 19-year-old Daquan Roundtree. Now, you might remember he went missing from his Portsmouth home in early December. Well, we are hearing from the family of this Newport newsman who died after contracting listeria. Here's a reminder to drivers that the James River Bridge connecting Newport News and Isle of Wight County is closed until Tuesday morning. The new U.S. jobs report is out, and it shows U.S. employers added 216,000 jobs last month. That's beating expectations. How are those New Year's resolutions coming along? Maybe you're struggling or you just gave up altogether. Well, it's okay. Mine fell through as well. So these are only proposed changes. They're not quite final yet. Whoop, gotta leave that behind. We're at MacArthur Center in Norfolk, where some kids are getting to pick out their Christmas gift a little early. Their very own bike. The U.S. Navy says it is ramping up its investigation into faulty welding on ships that were either built or repaired at Newport News Shipbuilding. And we now know 3 of those ships have already joined the fleet. It's after Halloween, which means a lot of you are probably already putting up your decorations for Christmas already. And we've got elections coming up. So you might have a little bit of aggression that you need to get out. One way to do it, smashing some pumpkins. This is where Lynette Smith says her son is buried at Roosevelt Memorial Park in Chesapeake, but the marker disappeared. So she reached out to News 3, and after I contacted the company that owns the memorial park, the marker is back. One Hampton Roads family is getting their holiday gift just a little early this year. Shawna Williams and her teenage son moved into their Suffolk home earlier today. Well, for kids and adults alike, it's hard to avoid some of the rumors about school threats in our area. But I talked with one psychologist who says while it's important to address these rumors head on, it's all part of a balancing act. Ellie and Abby have some new shoes, you can see right here. And this story is tied together by the random act of kindness that helped them get those shoes. A beautiful day for the 4th of July, capped off here at the Virginia Beach oceanfront with a stellar fireworks show. Epworth United Methodist Church here in Norfolk has been around for 130 years now, and it is a landmark for people who drive up and down Bush Street and along Freemason in Norfolk on the daily. But church leadership here recently announcing that the daycare and the church is closing. But let me tell you what, it is magnificent inside. Let me show you around. It won't be until December 18th that the Norfolk School Board votes to formally adopt new cell phone use guidelines. It's quiet out here on Granby Street. That's because it's freezing cold outside. Bundle up, Hampton Roads. It's about to get a whole lot colder. You know the saying that age is just a number, right? Well, that turns out to be true for organ donations as well. I talked to this man in Newport News who says you can become a hero at any age. We have been sharing with you some of the plans of what the new Maury High School here in Norfolk's Ghent neighborhood will look like. Portsmouth police chief says there was an overall reduction in homicides in the last year. He's still aiming to hire 40 to 50 police officers in the year to come. Well, there's a lot of bikes to choose from here at East Coast Bicycles on Colley Avenue in Ghent, except there's a place here that's empty where one should be. That's because it was stolen. Well, plans are coming together for the new Maury High School in Norfolk's Ghent neighborhood. I'll show you some of the plans coming up. Well, candles, cards, balloons, stuffed animals, flowers. Part of a growing vigil here in the Peaceful Village area of Chesapeake to remember a mom and 3 kids who died here last week. And as this memorial continues to grow, we're learning more about what happened in the moments leading up to that incident. It's in this neighborhood that police say on Christmas morning, someone stole a car and drove off, but there were Christmas gifts inside for someone's children. Now, Joshua still has a bit of recovery to go. In fact, he is fed using a tube right now, but his family says the next steps in his recovery will be to get him off that tube. I'm Jay Greene, News 3. Well, candles, cards, balloons, stuffed animals, flowers. Part of a growing vigil here in the Peaceful Village area of Chesapeake to remember a mom and 3 kids who died here last week. And as this memorial continues to grow, we're learning more about what happened in the moments leading up to that incident.
Channel 3025 Welcome Road.
Police radio traffic takes us back to February 6th. WTKR News 3 obtained a request for a search warrant. In it, police say 34-year-old Simone King Roberson's girlfriend called Chesapeake police after seeing the mother's Facebook Live. The video appeared to show 3 dead bodies inside the mother's Peaceful Village home.
She's saying she sees three deceased individuals inside the apartment.
Court documents say King Roberson refused to come out of her home for police. SWAT teams then heard gunshots coming from inside the home. That's when police entered and found two twins, a teenage girl and their mother, dead of apparent gunshot wounds. Still, no word on what the motive may have been, but in the days following, this memorial still grows outside the home where the terrible tragedy occurred.
It shows the love and the compassion for the family, for individuals, for human beings.
Bilal Muhammad with Stop the Violence team.
This has really brought a strong emotional effect on the whole South Side community.
Saying there's an urgent need to bring this community back together.
And we got to work on resolving the mental oppression. Not a job that we can bring healing in one day or 1 week. This is a process.
Bilal saying this is a reminder.
Showing that we have to show more love.
In Chesapeake, I'm Jay Greene, WTKR News 3. Authorities in Newport News say they still haven't found the bodies of Keir and Chloe Johnson nearly 8 years after they were reported missing, but a change, a big update in the case with an arrest on I-64.
April 30th, 2017. That's the last time I spoke to my sister.
Tier Petway speaking exclusively with News 3's Jessica Larche about Keir Johnson, her sister. It was on April 30th, 2017, when 34-year-old Keir Johnson and her daughter Chloe were supposed to meet friends at Buckrow Beach in Hampton, but they never did, and that prompted an Amber Alert out of Hampton. A few days later, authorities found Keir's car off Jefferson Avenue in Newport News. On Monday, a major breakthrough in the case.
Last Friday, around noon, Carlos Johnson, who is Chloe's father, was arrested.
Authorities in Newport News announcing Carlos Johnson Jr., Keir's ex-boyfriend, had been arrested after a traffic stop on I-64 and charged with murder in the disappearance of Chloe and Keir, though their bodies still have not been found. While Carlos and Keir have the same last name, they were not married. Tier Petway says for years, her family suspected Carlos Johnson Jr. all along.
That's who we always known, but we just couldn't say. But I'm glad the police finally made an arrest.
Authorities not saying exactly what evidence led to the arrest, but these binders were on display.
Each one of those binders represents evidence in this particular case. There are 21 of them.
Also on display Monday, a mixed bag of emotions.
I've been doing this a very long time, and this was the first case I've ever had where a baby was intentionally murdered.
The images of that little girl for me, that beautiful little girl, those images, there's things in this profession you'll never forget. This is a case I'll never forget.
Commonwealth's attorney Howard Gwynn saying this is just the beginning of prosecuting this case.
I want you to take a look at this picture. And I want you to look at these two people. And if you have information about this case that will help us successfully prosecute it, please come forward.
In Newport News, I'm Jay Greene, WTKR News 3. What has been a long day across the country at several airports. Technical difficulties creating delays and cancellations, including right here at Norfolk International. I spoke to one woman from Hampton Roads who's stuck in Dallas. She's just trying to get home.
I just cannot wait to get home.
Lauren Roberts Carter with the Hampton Roads Chamber was supposed to be back in Norfolk Friday night, but
We're canceled.
instead she spent the night in Dallas with co-workers after a Microsoft technical outage impacting airlines around the world. I caught up with Lauren over Zoom, and she told me she tried to remain as optimistic as possible Friday at DFW.
There was an actual plane at our gate, and we're like, all right, we have a plane, so we're going to be fine.
Fine, not so much.
We were going to get delayed 2 hours, and then 2 hours turned into 5 hours. Then it turned into you're going to fly out around 7 p.m.
So they came up with a plan B and plan C and D, and you can see where I'm going with this.
Should we fly to Atlanta and just stay in Atlanta and then maybe get a car and drive from Atlanta up to Norfolk?
All of that just for airline staff to end up telling her there were no flights available out of Dallas.
A lot of the crews, including the pilot, they weren't able to get to Dallas from wherever they were coming in from. You might have a plane, but you didn't have a crew.
At one point in the last 24 hours, FlightAware.com reporting more than 2,800 flight cancellations around the country and another 10,000 flights delayed. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg posting on social media reminding travelers if your flight's canceled and you don't want to travel, you can request a cash refund. Timothy Johnson is a professor in Hampton University's Aviation Sciences Department. He told me the issue wasn't really for the airports.
This outage has affected airliners more than anything with their databases and the systems.
Lauren said she was finally able to get a ticket home for Saturday night, adding being proactive is key.
It's to actually get logged into these different airlines and not be afraid to try the different airlines and see what is going to potentially get you to your destination.
And here's hoping her weekend wraps up with a safe flight home.
And I am checking into the spa for a few hours in the morning.
I'm Jay Greene, News 3. She made history as the commander of the world's largest naval base. Well, now she is tackling a new mission. In this exclusive interview, I had a chance to catch up with this trailblazer for Women's History Month.
My last day in the Navy was the 1st of December.
Jenna Days is just coming off a nearly 40-year career in the U.S. Navy, to include serving as the first African-American woman commander of Naval Station Norfolk.
It was a great opportunity to be a role model, to just be a great representation of the Navy.
She'll tell you she misses some elements of her military career. Let me ask you this, do you miss going to base at all?
Absolutely not.
But as retirement approached, she knew she wanted to keep working and she wanted to stay in Hampton Roads.
It was kind of a no-brainer.
So the city of Suffolk and an opportunity to lead its economic development department came calling.
In my last position, I had the opportunity to work with city governments and nonprofits and various organizations, and it gave me a lot more comfortability about stepping into a role such as this.
Days noted Suffolk's growth and said she's focused on attracting new businesses, supporting small businesses that already exist, and reinvesting in the community.
Right, Suffolk is a little golden nugget here. There's business, there's homes, there's retail, and the like, and my focus is kind of a little bit of all of that.
In her role in the Navy, Day says she learned how to deal with diverse environments with different people and backgrounds, and that'll translate well into her new role. She also offered some advice to military personnel who are transitioning into civilian roles.
Step outside if you're interested in doing something outside the Department of Defense, and be confident in doing that and comfortable, and get to know people, because there are hardworking folks that are not in Department of Defense, quite frankly, and that is what city government is.
As for navigating new waters in Suffolk, Day says she has a lot of gas left in the tank and she's ready.
Look out, Suffolk's on the map. We're not going anywhere, and there's, like I said, a lot of growth happening here, a lot of opportunity, and come on out and visit me. I'll be here.
In Suffolk, I'm Jay Greene, WTKR News 3.
As a father, I was happy. As someone that she could look up and follow.
On January 1st, her hand on a Bible, Judge W. Rob Lewis II got to swear in his very own daughter.
Probably one of the proudest days of my life.
Judge Takia Lewis Blaylock.
I love him. That's my dad. Our relationship is so different now.
From family to friends to colleagues, he's been with her every step of the way, all the way to the bench.
And she was campaigning, she was still working, practicing law, so it was a struggle, and she did it.
The two making history.
In North Carolina, we discovered that we would be the first father-daughter judge duo, if you will, to be seated in the same district at the same time.
The duo both served the 7th District Court in North Carolina. That includes Bertie and Hertford counties. Judge Blaylock won last year's election, a retiring judge serving as her inspiration.
I said, yeah, okay. If the judges, can see me and think that highly of me, then I'm ready and I'm going to do it.
A month shy of being sworn in, she says everything still a little surreal.
Because I was a defense attorney, so I was arguing for my clients. And so it's now I'm sitting up listening to people, argue for their clients.
Being called Your Honor still setting in.
It is still very weird.
But it's who she gets to share the bench with that's super special.
That's my father. That's my daddy.
As for Judge Blaylock's new job, so far, so good.
It's going to be a learning curve, but I'm enjoying it.
And she hopes to inspire others who might want to follow in her footsteps, just like she followed in her dad's.
You don't necessarily see so many people who look like me, up on the bench and in positions like that. I am in a position for the younger generation to see that, yes, they can do it. They can do anything they want to.
In Hertford County, I'm Jay Greene, News 3.